And then by video link, Belle Ribeiro-Addy.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. There's only one thing on which me and the Home Secretary would agree on today, and that's that we have a failed and broken immigration system that costs far too much money. But this is because of successive Conservative governments that have failed it and broken it, and an incompetent and chaotic Home Office which continues to preside over it. When you constantly have to pay out claims for wrongful decisions and outsource immigration detention and asylum accommodation, it costs money and misery. Over 50% of those in immigration detention, I might add, actually end up staying in this country. What an absolute waste. So extending the estate will only enrich companies like Serco and G4S, which is why the plan to extend the immigration detention estate makes no sense to me when the pandemic has proven that it can be managed another way. If the government wants to save money, it should simply end immigration detention. Madam Deputy Speaker, this horrendous piece of legislation hailed as a solution does nothing to resolve these issues. It does nothing to create safe routes for refugees, nothing to end the hostile environment, nothing to end the danger of unsafe asylum accommodation, and nothing to address the bureaucratic hurdles that leave people without documentation through no fault of their own. We're living through an age of mass displacement driven by war, poverty, and climate breakdown. And under the Refugee Convention, anyone seeking asylum should be able to claim in their intended destination or another safe country. Asylum seekers are under no obligation to seek refuge in the first country they arrive in, and there are a number of reasons why they may not do this. It's times like this that the government shouldn't be dodging their moral and legal obligations to accept their fair share of refugees. Instead of creating a fair and inhumane system, this bill, coupled with the government's new plan, actually discriminates by distinguishing people fleeing the same persecution by something as irrelevant as how they arrived. Does the Home Secretary realise that a trafficked woman can't stop and ask her handler to ensure that she arrived on the correct documentation? And LGBTQ people and those fleeing political and religious persecution can't do a Google search to find out what mode might be considered the most favourable. And that an unaccompanied minor stripped from everything and everyone they know doesn't have the luxury of ticking the correct box. These people are fleeing conditions some of us could never imagine, and these plans will limit the options of those most in need and create a two-tier system that will ruin lives. It is 100% a misrepresentation that this legislation meets obligations under international law. And don't take my word for it. You've heard time and time again today, this is the view of the United Nations. And actually the opinions of those lawyers that the Home Secretary seeks to demonise today. And to all of those campaigns and lawyers that continue to support migrants' rights, I want them to know that no matter what is said about you from the Conservative benches, you are absolute heroes. And long after this government is done away with, you will be on the right side of history. This is yet more of this government's authoritarian agenda, turning away the most vulnerable. And as the late, great Tony Benn once said, the way a government treats asylum seekers is very instructive because it shows you how they would treat the rest of us if they thought that they could get away with it.